Hi, Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. I received this wood in our club wood exchange and just wondering what to do with it. It is a very light wood, probably either box elder or cottonwood or maybe even aspen. It's hard to tell from the outside, at least for me. But there are some clues here on the ends. It looks like there is some spalting in here and potentially throughout here. The wood is somewhat soft and punky, so that's what gave us the spalting. So if I turn this wood, it will either drink up a lot of CA glue, which I really don't like to use that much, but why not try and stabilize this wood and see if I can pull out some of that wonderful spalted figure, if it's there. So let's turn this, but we'll stabilize it in the middle of the process.
I cut the corners off the wood. Now it is pressed against closed chuck jaws solely with live center pressure. This is enough, roughly equivalent to a safety or stub center for spindles. As I round off the blank with a bowl gouge, I can see even more just how punky the wood is from the spalting. The tear out is significant. After marking the size for a tenon, I can start shaping the tenon and outer profile. As I cut off the wood, the tear out is terrible. I decide on a rounded down rim, but I do not trust the wood to hold together. Now I can reverse the bowl into the chuck with that tenon. As I start hollowing with my bowl gouge, the tear out is terrible here also. There is absolutely no way to salvage the bowl without a gallon of thin CA, which would be a terrible stink at least, not to mention burning eyes even when it's dry. Stabilizing appears to be the only recourse. Just in case, I mark the live center point in the center. The bowl now weighs in at 124.8 grams. First, the wood needs to be super dry. A couple hours at 200 degrees Fahrenheit should do the trick. I do not want to fill my whole 5-gallon stabilizing unit. To reduce the resin requirement, the wood just fits into a used vinyl bucket. Wood floats in resin. Glass foil stones will serve dual purpose: weigh down the wood and take up space that would otherwise have to have more resin. Resin fills the bucket to immerse the wood with plenty of clearance. The extra resin will be needed later. Into the stabilizing unit it goes. I purchased this one off Amazon. There are a lot out there, but it needs to have a glass top. Acrylic will not last. On goes the glass lid, and turn on the vacuum pump for 2 days. After 2 days under vacuum, there are still some bubbles. You ever heard of diminishing returns? Now for nearly 2 days to soak. This is where the extra resin is required as it soaks into the wood. I also have another vacuum cylinder for smaller blocks of wood. At the end of 4 days, the wood is out to drain. Then wrap it in aluminum foil, back into the oven at 200 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 hours. It does need to cool before handling and turning. Upon unwrapping the foil, the wood is a mess. The resin has bubbled out into a foamy-like mess. Maybe the wood was not as dry as I thought it was. At least, that is my theory. After scraping off most of the foam and back at the scale, it weighs in at 252 grams, over double the weight of the original wood. Now the stabilized wood is pressed against a face plate with the live center in the original divot. First task is to recut the tenon to remove any resin distortions. Then continue to shape the exterior with a gouge. With the resin changing the character of the wood, a scraper now does a great job. Swap ends just like the first round. I do like to keep the live center in place for insurance. A drilled-out rubber stopper protects the wood against damage. Back to shaping with a spindle gouge. Now I can address the reverse rounded rim. After removing the live center, shortly I also switched to a round nose scraper and my skew as a scraper. Using a gauge, I checked the wall thickness at rim, wall, and base. After all, I do not want a funnel, especially after so much time stabilizing it. By the way, the resin stinks, but it is doing its job. After sanding from 80 to 400 grit, I can apply wipe-on poly to the top side and as much of the bottom as possible. After the poly is dried, here come the coal jaws, one of many great ways to finish a foot. Again, after sanding the foot area, another treatment with wipe-on poly brightens the wood. By the way, it now weighs in at 92 grams. Now I have a pretty little bowl. It would have disintegrated without the stabilizing process. This preserved the black lines from the fungi that spalted the wood. I like it.
Well, it survived. Because of the spalting, it was so punky, I don't think it would have survived otherwise. Maybe I could have used CA glue, but then the fumes from that, even when they're dry, would burn my eyes and drive me crazy. So yes, I stabilized this. One lesson learned from the stabilization is that that punkiness that created the extra figure in here has more moisture than otherwise, so dry it a little bit more because it generated a lot of foamy type resin that forced out. I think that is due to the moisture. So more drying would be in order for the next time. But meanwhile, yes, this is a nice bowl, nice salvage.
Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my website as well as on YouTube. My subscription process is much more reliable to let you know than YouTube's. Please spread the word by telling your friends about my weekly videos. I appreciate your comments and questions. Please wear your full face shield whenever the lathe is running. As usual, I'm nagging you, but I hope to save your life, or at least your eyesight. Once wood flies, no one can dodge fast enough.